All right, guys, welcome back. And today we were talking about another review with J Mark. We're talking about Welcome to Blumhouse's Amazon Prime's special release of Black Box. This is a movie that J Mark recommended. We also got two of the videos right now. We got Enola Holmes as well as The Devil All the Time. If you want to check those out, they're down below. And J Mark, what would you say this movie is actually all about?
After losing his wife and his memory in a car accident, a single father undergoes an agonizing experimental treatment that causes him to question who he really is. Would you agree with Wikipedia, John?
Yeah. I don't think the trailer gives away the entire movie. I'd say it probably gives around maybe the first third, almost
Okay.
half.
Okay.
And then that last third, man, it's fire. It really picks up. There's a moment of confusion where you're like, wait, do I need to go on Wikipedia and read the synopsis because maybe they're not being very clear?
Yeah.
But I stuck with it, and I actually, And then the last 30 minutes for me is the best part of the movie.
Okay,
Did you like the movie?
I did like the movie. It didn't blow me away, but I felt like it was a really solid film and enjoyed it. I'd say more than I was expecting to, actually. Because I saw some average review rating on IMDb was like 6.2 or something. I was like, oh, is this like, I don't know, it's kind of a
I know it went from like 20% to 60% on the audience of Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, really? Okay.
There was only like 5 reviews, so that could have been part of it.
I think on Letterboxd and on IMDb, I'd have it at like a 3.5, 7 out of 10.
Okay.
So, and I saw you, what did you get? You're at like...
I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
4 out of 5 black boxes because, it's funny. I don't know if that's a good way to do it, but I remember giving Enola Holmes 3.5, and then I said, well, it's better than that. So, and I think it does warrant a 4 out of 5 because when they try to figure out what I didn't like about this movie, I came up short. And some of it
I felt the same way.
Even nitpicky. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like, it probably shouldn't be a great movie, but what did I like about it? Well,
yeah.
And I think the bad stuff is like the middle stuff, like where it kind of slows down and it doesn't quite move as quickly as you probably want to. It probably could have been an episode of Black Mirror, and it probably could have been an hour long.
Sure, yeah.
I thought the acting was pretty solid.
Yeah.
I got some names right here.
Even though I have them in front of me, I don't know if I could pronounce half these names.
I know. I always feel so bad. I am a terrible person.
You just say it fast and with confidence.
Okay, so and I apologize in advance for butchering these names. I have no ill intent. Mamoudou Athie? Mamoudou Athie.
Is it
Mamoudou Athie plays Nolan, is our main protagonist.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he was in The Circle. And then I looked it up, and it was, oh, no, wait. It's not that movie. It's this movie with Emma Watson and Tom Hanks. It's not the Elimination movie. And then the next person we have is Phylicia Rashad, who plays Elaine. She was in The Cosby Show. Claire Huxtable. Yeah. Oh, and she's also Creed. She's Michael B. Jordan's mother.
Yeah, that's right. That's okay. Yeah.
She's Mrs. Creed.
Mrs. Creed.
So I thought she was pretty good. And then you have Amanda Christine, who's Ava, the little girl. I thought she was great. I thought,
Oh, yeah.
Children actors tend to suck, but she really kind of pulled me in with that little handshake,
Yeah.
Let's see. We have Tosin Morohunfola. I'm sorry again. He plays Gary. The doctor
friend.
I gotta say about this doctor. This doctor had way too much time. I've been to doctors. I've been to hospitals. I've never met a doctor with that much free time. He's babysitting. He's doing this. He's doing that. He's investigating. He's playing detective. There's maybe one scene where he's like, I got maybe 2 weeks to get back to it.
Well, he did. Well, I was gonna say, didn't he say he settled down? Is he married?
Well, we never see his wife.
Well, I guess not. But didn't he say you're the one who convinced? I just assumed he was, but I guess didn't he say like you convinced us, you and your wife convinced us to settle down?
I think you're right. I just don't remember seeing.
Yes.
Like when she was at the house, there was never.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah. But he's doing detective work, and I'm like, no, I've met doctors. They don't have this kind of time. And they're a lot more callous and cold.
Okay.
You know, because most of them have like a god complex. They don't have this. Maybe more like
Like
Nathan
the mother.
or the mother. Good point. And then we have Donald Elise Watkins, who plays Thomas, which is the one name of the characters I could remember because it's like the mother kept saying, "Thomas, is that you?"
Thomas.
He was okay. I mean, you could have put any actor in there. I don't think it was awful. I think it was just okay.
Yeah.
Kind of hated him, which I guess was, you know, the point.
Yeah.
And then finally we have Naja Bradley, who plays Rachel, which was the wife to Thomas, who was living in the apartment and being battered and living with the kid.
Oh, okay.
So that's probably pretty much our cast. That's pretty much our cast.
Smaller cast, I like it.
Which is fine. I liked it.
Yeah.
I thought they all brought it, but it's funny because you think of Blumhouse, and you think of franchises like the Jordan Peele movies, Get Out, and Us.
Yeah.
You think of what else is there? Paranormal Activity is one of the franchises. Insidious. The Purge. Not great movies by any measure, but with the exception of Jordan Peele.
Right.
But they're watchable. Like they're awful, but they're watchable. And then you think about like the ones that are unwatchable, like Fantasy Island, which I didn't even see.
I did watch that one.
There's a lot of movies like Hulu, like Poku Dies or something like that. There's a lot of these churning that meat grinder, so you never really know what you're gonna get with these Blumhouse movies. It's not like A24 that is always putting out these great films.
Right.
It really is like a mystery box. I like to think of it as like when I was a little kid, when I used to like leave a store and they used to have these like you take 4 quarters and they would sell stickers.
Yeah.
And you put them in the slot and like push them in, and you'd have like a 1 in 7 shot of getting the sticker that you want.
There you go.
It's kind of like that. You know, it's like a mystery box. You hope you're gonna get something good, but you know.
What was I gonna say? Invisible Man. That was a great one. Did you see that?
And I'm glad you brought that up because I feel like this could have been equally as successful as The Invisible Man had they have put some star power behind it. Had it wasn't all a black cast and had they gave it a proper producer, what have you, because I think it's there narratively with the writing, but because The Invisible Man does have a couple of, you know, slumps along the way, or it doesn't make sense. Like in the first half of the movie. Same with this one. But it's just like, can we just get on with it? And I think what people remember is that the second half of the movie with the reveal and the special effects and stuff like that, which this movie has as well. So I think it's pretty equal if it was in better hands. If they decided to Blumhouse.
If Lee Winnell directed this.
Who?
If Lee Winnell, the guy who... So he like wrote the Insidious movies, and then he wrote and directed The Invisible Man. Okay. So if he would have done Black Box, then oh my gosh. Yeah. Wait, why do you say not an all black cast? I mean, what about Get Out? What about Black Panther?
But that's Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele is bringing people into the audience. You know what I mean? Like we're trading on his name.
Okay.
But there's a bad rap of when you have these movies that are, I think the one who's guilty of it the most is who's the guy who does Medea?
Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry, thank you. Is notorious for making basically just crap movies. Like there's one movie he just put out. They were talking about it over on Double Toasted. They filmed it in 5 days. And Tyler Perry has a studio where he basically just bought a small piece of land and he has all these red brick buildings and it's really cheap. And he just churns out movies really quickly. Okay. And he has people living there, and it's a meat grinder.
Okay.
And,
it's like a YouTuber.
Kinda. and he gets a lot of criticism for that.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's kind of like a bad trope where there's a lot of these movies where it's an all-black cast, and they're not very good because they're rushed or they're underproduced or whatever.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, going in, I kind of had that feeling like it might be one of those movies, but let's hope it's better, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, for one, it's Amazon Prime and it's Blumhouse, but I think this was I think this transcended all that, which was really nice. It could have been a Twilight Zone or a Black Mirror episode. Maybe not Twilight Zone because those new Jordan Peele ones are not very good. but but a classic Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Let's get into spoilers a little bit
Sure.
because I think that's the real heart of this movie.
Spoil it. Let's do it.
So the movie's basically set up, or it's like a quilt of other movies.
Okay.
Because like the beginning of the movie kind of feels like a combination of like Memento and Jason Bourne, because you have a character who doesn't have his short-term memory, and everyone is trying to put up with this bullshit. Dude, we already told you. Like, stop explaining your condition to everybody. We know. We know that you're an annoying pain in the ass, and we have to spoon feed you. We get it.
Right.
And then you have the second act where you get into like the thick of it, and now we're, what feels like Inception, or The Matrix, or Ready Player One. Well, maybe not that one. But it's kind of like, it's very Christopher Nolan. If you took the guy from Memento and you put him in Inception, this is what you would have. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I see what you're getting at. I think that I don't know if it reached quite those heights for me, but I see what you're getting at for sure. I think for me, one of my and I don't know, like it feels kind of like a nitpick, but I don't think it is. I mean, I'd say one of my biggest takeaways from the movie is that, like you mentioned, how this is similar to like The Invisible Man, and I feel like the one of the biggest things that really separates the two movies is that I feel like The Invisible Man had a really distinct style, like that felt like its own, whereas this, like you said, it is kind of a quilt of other movies, and I really did like how, again, a lot of my sensibilities, I like the movies that they're borrowing from. Like so I naturally really like this film, but I don't really remember, like I don't really feel like it had its own style, like its own kind of that was kind of my takeaway from it. What do you think about it?
A couple little things that I did like. When the movie really kicks in for me is when we get to the scene where he first goes in.
Okay.
They're setting the rules. And this is the stuff that I eat up. I love the bit about with the analog watch, and you can turn it forward to go forward and backwards to go backwards, and you push it in the side to go back to the room. Yeah. I like the bit how they have like a safe room, and if you leave, you can't come back. Yeah. I like how you even get into it. We have the headset, and it's all black. It's like VR, and you can see the X. I love all of that.
Yeah.
I mean, that just reminds me of a good sci-fi movie that establishes the rules that will be paid off later. Yeah. Everything leading up to that, it's kind of like, I'm not gonna lie. I paused this movie maybe like 3 times. Got up, got a snack, came back, checked my phone. I watched it in pieces.
Yeah,
so did I, actually. When we're doing this, I tend to take notes and whatever. But then I'm also like, I could use a cup of coffee.
Yeah, or probably water. You drink a lot of that.
I do. I've been juicing actually a lot lately.
Really? Like steroids?
Like mean green. Like it's green.
Okay.
Lime green. I feel a lot better.
Okay,
I have a lot
great.
of bad allergies and tends to help. But the first 30 minutes are a lot of exposition, and it's kind of the little girl is actually the best part in the first third of the movie. She's trying to
relationship and
tuck me in, she's got her, and then you feel so bad in the end when that guy is like, he's like, snap yourself in, you bitch.
Yes,
you do. You're a big girl, and you snap in.
That was hard to watch. Yeah.
So that was cool. I don't think that the main villain is the mother in this movie. I think the main villain is Thomas, because I think the mother, despite knowing how bad this guy probably is, she has an idea. I think she's just doing what any good mother in her position probably would try to do. And she's kind of got like the blinders on, saying things like, oh, well, he can change. He can be better, It's second chance. I didn't vilify her entirely. I thought he was a piece of shit. Can we just talk about
absolutely.
How that scene in the third act where he Spartan kicks that kid across the fucking hall, and the mother just pushes him down the stairs? You know what I'm talking about?
So I missed the first part. I must have missed that. I must have missed that part. So I saw when she pushed him down the stairs, but I missed like the couple seconds before that. So what happens?
It's okay. So in the final scene,
we're
close to it.
Because he's remembering it. He's like, he has the knife. He's about to stab him.
Yeah.
And then he's remembering the movie,
and he's about to kill. And I thought that was clever too. But we'll get to that. When he's about to stab, he does a flashback, and he flashbacks to with the wife and the kid.
Yes.
And
on the stairs.
I think he's struggling with the wife, and he's being abusive. He's yelling at her, and he's shoving her they're in the hallway by the stairs, and the kid runs up and is like, "Daddy, stop!" And he just Spartan kicks the kid, like center mass. Like they don't show the kid's point of view, but they show him, and you hear it. And his foot comes up and goes whoosh, and just shoves that kid flying, like in the movie 300. And it's in that moment. Are you
serious?
Yeah. And it's in that moment that the mother is just like, enough is enough. You can hurt me, but you can't hurt my kid. Flings him down the stairs. You gotta go watch it again, man. It's the best part.
I'm going to tonight. Go watch it again. Watch it.
Like, boom! This is Black Box. Boom! And I'm watching it going...
How did I miss like the most shocking part of the whole movie? Oh my gosh! I will confession, I was breaking it up in pieces and watching it because I was just kind of watched it last minute, and so I kind of broke it up today and watched it, and I was in my car got some Taco Bell, right, and so I was eating my Crunchwrap Supreme, and I had my phone right there, and I must have just like looked down and took a nice sweet bite of that Diablo sauce and that Crunchwrap Supreme, so I must have missed the part when he Spartan kicked his daughter.
Yeah.
Down the stairs? Where through the wall? Where did he kick her?
No, because he was like he kicked her, I guess, down the hallway because he was adjacent to the stairs.
Okay.
So he kicked her.
The hallway's coming over to the stairs.
So he kicked her forward down the hallway. Oh. She shoved him to the left down the staircase.
Okay.
Yeah, man. And it was like in that moment. And it's too bad you missed it, but like, if you had any doubts about this guy being good or bad, like, because you do kind of, in your mind, you kind of go.
Feel for him, at least.
Because, like, look, he was a bad guy.
Back from the dead.
He was a bad guy, and we get that, more as the movie goes on.
Yeah.
And they do tell you, initially, that the original character, Nathan, is gone. So you're not really pulling for that character anymore because you don't think he even exists.
Right.
You don't know that he's a creature.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I thought initially that this was my original thought about how it was going to play out. Okay. I thought we were going to find out that Nathan, because that's the main character, right? In the beginning of the movie?
Nolan.
Okay.
Nolan, yeah.
So what I thought was originally going to happen was I thought Nolan, when he was at the wedding and he sees like the crab monster walking at him, I thought we were going to find out that was him, and we were going to find out it was him looking at himself.
That's what I thought. Yeah. He's like trying to warn himself or something.
And then we find out like the abuse. I thought maybe he killed his wife in the car accident, or there was some earlier abuse that he suppressed. I thought he was going to be the one with the guilty conscience. Not that somebody downloaded a guilty conscience into, his spirit soul, into his brain.
Okay. I was surprised by that. Yeah, I was. I was surprised by that as well.
I don't think you could have put that together, though, with the pieces that they give you. No?
Yeah. No, I hear you.
There's a very brief scene.
The specifically... So, I wouldn't have known this unless I looked up on Wikipedia. So apparently... He's billed as the Backwards Man is the name of the creature. So you're saying that specifically the reveal of Thomas as the Backwards Man, you don't think that people would have put together, which I think I agree with that. I didn't.
The Backwards Man isn't Thomas. The Backwards Man is Nolan.
Oh, right. Is that it's actually Nolan? Right.
See, you know what? The fact that his name is Nolan just backs up my theory that it's based on Memento meets Inception.
Okay, yeah.
Somebody just watched all the Christopher Nolan movies and said, and we'll call him Nolan because fuck it.
Yeah. Oh, sure. No, that's a good point. No. Why wouldn't it? No, that probably was not. That probably was intentional. Honestly, yeah. That's a good.
Okay, so Nolan, right? Because I'm having a flashback to the friend doctor looking up his file, and you're right. It's Nolan, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so I thought he was going to be looking at himself. And the creature was going to be a representation of his guilt. Yeah. And then we were going to find out that he did some shady things before the accident. Which was going back to my Jason Bourne thing of like, if you watch those Jason Bourne movies, he's a good guy because we know him from this point forward. When he gets his memory back, we find out he killed a lot of innocent people. And I thought that was going to be the road that they were going to go down.
he finds out he's the monster.
Right.
You know.
So I like
Yeah.
that they didn't do that.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I enjoyed that, and they paid it all off. I'm glad they paid off the whole bit about if you leave the room, you can't come back.
Yes. It was very satisfying, surprisingly.
It also kind of reminded me of Get Out, because
the hypnosis,
and Get Out, they have the physically remove your brain and put it into a different body. And this version, it's very much like, well, Matrix here, we're just going to upload it. And which, all right, look, there are things you have to let go of.
Yeah.
And hopefully a good narrative, a good story, a good performance will transcend all of that. And you won't, there's things you have to let go of. You know?
Yeah. It didn't bother me that they did that. It just, I don't know. I just felt like Get Out was so stylish. You know what I mean? And it just had this, like, it definitely had moments that you're like, oh, I'm not. Okay, a lot of Get Out is other movies kind of mingled into one, but there was just some moments of Get Out. It's like, okay, I haven't seen this before. Just the blending of it all. I just wish there was a little bit more of that in this movie. It was a little bit more distinct,
right?
If you know what I mean. I would say if that would have pushed it over the edge.
And the fact that Get Out came out first does kind of make it feel like they ripped on it a little bit.
Sure, or like clearly saw it.
It doesn't feel very original in comparison.
Like when you go into the room. Like again, once he actually gets in the black box, and then you start to go through, like they start to establish the rules. Okay, I'm like, okay, I'm liking this, but like especially when he just walked in the room, I was just like, it's just like a VR headset. I don't know. I was just like I was just expecting a little bit more, the black box.
Yeah.
I don't know what they would have done.
Movies like Inception, like when they hook up to the dream, and it's just like a wire on the guy's wrist. Like there's really nothing to it.
But whoa! But it's Hans Zimmer's music in the background going. Wah.
But you know what I mean. Like it's clearly not important to the story usually, and you kind of just have to just go with it. Like I don't get hung up on that.
Right.
Like it's fine.
Right.
Like even what was the other one? Us.
Us.
Never would have guessed that twist. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where it's like, so what was the big reveal? It's like did they were they twins? No. You don't understand. They had something called the Tethered, and they live. If you take an escalator down, you'll find there's a whole army of people. Like nobody put that shit together.
No,
but
not
because
at all.
the performances were strong enough and the narrative was strong enough, the direction, you kind of just go with it.
Right.
And that was the same thing I kind of applied here.
Right. And I think, I mean, you know what I mean in comparison to, I would say, Get Out and then this one. So that's why I would put this below. Something like Get Out, I guess I would say.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But definitely better than, like a lot of movies I've seen recently, for sure. I thought it was really solid. And I really liked just Nolan and his relationship with his daughter. You mentioned that. She did a great job, his daughter, that little actress that played her. Super sweet, super emotional.
That scene got me, man. And I know it was coming.
The seatbelt?
But when he finally got that handshake in the end, and I know it was coming. It was all set up. But I'm like, he's back.
Oh yeah. When he got the handshake,
Because it easily could have gone the road of he's just brain dead now, and he's dead, and he's in a coma, and credits.
So here's what I echo what you said, and I'm very happy this movie actually was pretty satisfying. It ended on a satisfying note because I said I watched it in increments. So on my lunch break, I watched 5 minutes of it, and it was the 5 minutes really before the final really act. And I was just telling Asia about the movie. I'm like, this is just a really sad movie. I mean, nobody's winning. I mean, this family that had an abuser, they're getting haunted again by this guy that they thought was dead. And then this daughter is basically, she thinks it's her dad, and it's actually not her dad. Her dad's actually dead. And they're actually happy. They think this miracle happened when all along her dad's actually dead. And so the fact that they kind of I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just really depressed. I really feel for both situations. And the fact that they came back and they're like, no, they fight each other. And then, the Thomas sacrifices himself, basically redeeming himself a little bit, to let Nolan go back. And it's like, okay, I felt like they actually paid off. It really paid off. I really liked the ending a lot.
I did too.
Yeah.
I thought it really stuck the landing. When I'm watching the last 5 minutes of the movie, my brain started thinking about every bad horror movie I've ever seen. like
Yeah.
Blumhouse, because they've done Truth or Dare, stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking, this is the ending they're going to give us. And it's going to suck. This is what I thought they were going to do.
Or Black Mirror.
Or
Usually
Black
those
Mirror.
end in like a sad, they have like a tragic ending.
Right.
I thought maybe it would be like a tragic ending.
So this is the ending I thought they were going to give us. And I'm so glad they didn't. All right. So the guy wakes up. He's back to being Nolan, right?
Yeah.
He does a handshake. All that's great. The mother gets stripped away of all of her titles. She's not a doctor anymore.
Yeah.
She's at home. Whatever. Cut to, it's 1 year later. We have Rachel, I think is the Thomas's wife, who is battered.
Yes.
Maybe she meets up with Nolan, whether it be because of the court case with the mom, whatever. They start talking. They grab a cup of coffee. They realize that they're both single parents and they're broken, and they both have kids. They hit it off, all right?
Yeah.
And it's like 1 year later, because I've seen movies that do this really cheap, where it's like, hey, we have a broken piece over here and a broken piece over here. Boop. And it's like, it's just such a movie thing to do that doesn't really happen in real life.
Right.
Just because you have two broken pieces doesn't mean you just fit together. But I figured this is what we're going to do. They're going to go like, you know what? Because like, they would have solved each other's problems. Right? But that's not how love works. But I've seen it in 1,000 times in bad movies. So they get back together, right?
Yeah.
And now they have like a nuclear family. Yeah. They each have two parents now. They hit it off. And everyone's happy, right?
Yeah.
Now, like right in the very, very end, we have Nolan, and he's walking past the reflection, and he sees Thomas in the reflection. And Thomas is kind of just smiling at him. And he's like, wink, and everyone's like, oh, credits.
Credits.
That's a shitty movie ending that I was expecting in the very end, because I've seen so many bad movies do that because they're prepping like a sequel.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, oh. I'm glad they used restraint and they said, all right, look, it's a standalone.
Right.
We're not going to milk it. We're not going to do that bullshit. So yeah, I'm glad they did
But they also still kind of threw you a little thing of like, I don't expect there to be a sequel, but like the mom at the very end, like, you know, working frantically at, you know, trying to get it to work again. It's like, okay, sure. Like there's still evil in the world. Like she's still trying, you know, to, I don't know, maybe try and do it again. Put him in another brain
But even
dead person.
there, it was restrained. Because
yeah.
they could have done one of two things. They could have padded out and just saw like another guy who was like her victim, who was maybe also being uploaded to, or this is what they could have done too. She puts on the headset and she's like, "Oh, I'm Thomas," and everyone's like, "Oh no, oh no!" And I'm glad they didn't do that. I hate that. It's always like we need to feed the potential sequel that will never come out,
right?
And destroys the original movie. So I'll give them a lot of credit for showing restraint and being a little more subdued.
Yeah,
you know, I like it a lot.
Yeah, way better than Enola Holmes. No, I liked Enola Holmes, but yeah, Black Box was I surprisingly liked it. I'm very interested now to see what else they have up their sleeve with this Blumhouse. Is it 4 movies? Is that right? It's like 4 of them in October.
It's 4 movies.
Yeah.
Just want to pull it up and take a look at it on my letterbox right here.
Yeah.
They have all these lists.
Yes. Love Letterboxd.
Welcome to Blumhouse. Let me just pull that up real quick.
Okay. Somebody probably create a list of the movies.
Yeah. Okay. So, Black Box.
Yeah.
So Black Box came out on October 6th.
Yeah.
And the next 3 movies, we have. Oh wait, it looks like The Lie is also out, but The Lie has a lower rating than Black Box. It has a 2.3 out of 5. It doesn't have a lot of great reviews. And then on October 13th, we have Nocturne. Okay. And then October 3 we also have Evil Eye on October 13th. So okay. That'll be coming out.
Do you have the premises in front of you? Do you know what those 2 are about, the 2 that are coming out?
Well, what do you want to know about The Lie? Or do you want to hear about...
Yeah, tell me about The Lie, too. What's that about?
So this is what it says in the letterbox. It was an accident. A father and daughter are on their way to dance camp when they spot the girl's best friend on the side of the road. When they stop to offer the friend a ride, their good intentions soon result in terrible consequences.
Oh no.
And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'll watch it because like it's on Amazon, and if you want to talk about this, I'm down.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
got lower reviews. But then again, because like I said, Black Box had a 20% on the audience scale on Rotten Tomatoes
Yeah.
because it only had 5 reviews. Maybe that's the same deal here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nocturne, which is next week,
Okay.
is what it says. The great reach their potential. Oh, the great reach their potential. The mad surpass it. An incredibly gifted pianist makes a Faustian bargain to overtake her older sister at a prestigious institution for classical musicians.
Ooh.
It's got like a
Okay.
creepy ass like picture. Oh, the focus is a little.
Oh wow, it's like Hostel or something.
Yeah.
Or yeah. Okay.
And then finally we have something called Evil Eye.
Evil Eye.
It looks like.
Ooh.
Looks like that.
Okay.
And it says, "Trust your mother's instincts. A seemingly perfect romance turns dark when a mother becomes convinced her daughter's new boyfriend has a sinister connection to her own past."
Huh. Okay. Evil Eye.
Hey man, look, I love doing these commentaries, and if you want to cover these movies, I'm down.
Yeah, so am I. I mean, hey, they all sound at least worth a watch. I mean, like I said, maybe I haven't watched the trailers for any of them, so who knows? Could be another Black Box. Be pleasantly surprised,
You would hope so. I'm betting that Black Box is probably at least slightly better because they opened on it.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I guess the lie. I guess they tried to open with that one, but
but I've seen a lot more for Black Box in like my queue than I have as opposed to the lie.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
It seems like they started on their good foot. So it might be downhill from there. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I mean, that would be my strategy. I would start with the best movie and then kind of lead people into a little bit. I guess we'll see.
Sure. Yeah, no, it'd be interesting. We'll talk about all three of them next weekend.
Bring Asia, man. I'd love to see like what she thinks about these movies.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be super cool.
Do you have any additional thoughts about Black Box? Anything you noticed? Anything that was funny or peculiar or
nitpick was his boss at the beginning. I felt like she was the only like kind of weak actress. I don't know. She wasn't really given a lot to work with, but I don't know. I like when she came on the screen, I was just like, what? I don't know. She just kind of threw me off. I don't know. Just something.
The one that fired him for not being good enough anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. Something about her she seemed a little unnatural. I don't know. Again, that's kind of she's in the movie for like 5 seconds, so it's like whatever. But that kind of stood out to me. But one thing I did like, or I should say another thing I liked. There's a lot I liked about the movie, but one thing I liked was that transition from what is he spinning like a pencil, and then it transitions. It's Thomas's memory, you find out, but like he's spinning a pencil, and then it's him spinning like chopsticks. And it's the Chinese restaurant. I was like, I kind of like that. That was like pretty artfully done. I thought that was pretty cool, pretty creative. And then what other thing was I gonna say? I loved the sound design. Like, and I mentioned the bone cracking, but specifically the backwards man. It was pretty well done. Like, it was just like, okay, I'm not like super scared watching this, but it's just like, this is really like creepy, disturbing-ish. Like, it's like, okay, I see what they're doing.
And I think that's why this movie got a lot of flack, is because like when I was reading the bad reviews, people kept complaining it wasn't scary. I don't think it's meant to be scary. I think it's meant to be a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
With maybe some like horror themes, but
Yeah.
But you're mad there's no jump scares? Come on. It's still a good movie. It's a good watch.
Maybe I didn't watch the trailer. Maybe they marketed it to where it's supposed to be, but that's not the movie's fault. It's more the marketing.
Maybe a little. I mean, it's Halloween time. Maybe they expect it to be, I don't know.
I don't. Yeah, it's like I can't speak for the trailer because I didn't watch it.
It's still got some spooky elements to it. I mean, it's still kind of reminds me of like Candyman a little bit. It's got those vibes.
Sure. Right. There's plenty of horror movies that are not. I didn't think Rosemary's Baby was that scary, but people say that's a horror movie, but that's a great movie, by the way. But no. So yeah, the bone cracking was great, especially when, and I will say that one shot of him like crawling backwards out of the crib, like the crib. I was like, ugh, like that was pretty gnarly.
Even the blurry faces were kind of off-putting when you're like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit.
Okay, I will say another. Okay, and no, this is probably the last nitpick. I seriously was having trouble making a list of things I didn't really like, but one nitpick I will say was what was up with um the scene where Nolan is going through his daughter's iPad and he sees the wedding photo
Okay.
during the of him and his wife during the day, like outside, I think, and that's like right after he experiences the wedding but it's never brought up. He's never like, well, why the difference?
Maybe that's a clue though. That's not the same wedding.
Well, no, it is. It is a clue, but I'm just saying he didn't bring.
Would it be,
yeah, because that was Nolan's wedding,
but not Thomas.
And then the other one was Thomas, right? No, I know, but he never. But Nolan or Thomas, how it's confusing to talk about, but they didn't bring it up. Like when he's talking to the doctor. It's just one person, the doctor. When he's talking to the doctor, they're talking about how, oh, maybe that's just in your head, or oh, maybe that's in your head.
Right.
It's like, why didn't they reference the photo? I don't know. I just felt like that was a little bit of a plot hole, but again, it didn't really bother me.
That's a good point, because when I'm watching the movie, I guess to explain it later, if he saw photos of his wife, then when he's in the dream box, the black box, he would have be blanking on. Like, his brain should have taken the photos and planted them onto the faces of the blurry faces. Because he knows what she looks like, so the subconscious should have been able to generate it, but I guess because it's not actually his memories, and it doesn't actually make sense.
I mean, that's why it didn't work that way. I guess for me, I kind of explained that away, just like, oh, this feels like a nightmare. That's just where I went with it. But then, again, when he actually went in the dream, and it was like dark in a, church, and then he doesn't recognize anybody. Everybody's face is blurred, and then he sees a picture like of him and his wife outside. I'm just like, okay, he didn't say, hey, what the heck is this photo right here? You know what I mean? Like, I just figured, I don't know. Again, it didn't really bother me, but
it's super convenient that both brides were similar and that they could have been body doubles.
I will say, when they do I'm glad they actually kind of spelled it out for me, because when they did the reveal and they showed her face, I was just like, okay, that's not his actual wife. Like I'm pretty sure that's the lady from the apartment, but I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, to be fair, we don't really see Nolan's deceased wife that much. We see like a photo or two.
Right.
So we really don't have a lot. And I guess that's smart, because you don't want people looking too closely.
And I guess it is smart too, because they have like similar hair, and you kind of see them both from a distance. So it's like, oh, you kind of go along with it,
right?
Because you obviously see their hair, but you don't see their their face. If they had completely different hairstyles, you'd be like, what the heck? That's not his wife. Like, so, but yeah,
I'm kind of shocked that like the wife, Thomas's wife, even opened the door for Nolan, because I'm like, if he was that bad, wouldn't you just be like, I'm calling the police? Like, if you know he's bad news too. I mean, I don't need you throwing me down the stairs.
Yeah, right. You coming to finish the job? What are you doing?
Are you back for revenge? Like, do you know that I killed him? Like, what are you doing here? Get the fuck out of here.
Right. That.
Yeah.
No, I hear you in that. I think my favorite moment, probably one of my favorite moments in the movie was right before the reveal, when Nolan he goes in and he's like confronting his fear, because up until this point you see he's like really timid, unsure of himself, and then he's like, no, I want to figure this out, and he keeps twisting the watch, and then he keeps like entering back in, even though it's like freaky. He just keeps going back in and going back in. I thought that was a pretty cool scene, and him just kind of facing his fear. And shout out to, hold on, I'm gonna butcher it, Mamadou, the main character, the guy who played Nolan. Shout out to him, man, because I totally believed him. I thought everybody did a great job, but yeah, I mean, just his real change from who he was at the beginning to then his realization of who he actually was, and then him basically playing a whole nother character. I thought he did a great job.
He was even really good as Thomas. Like,
exactly.
Like when he went back and was playing super aggressive with the old wife, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That was so unnerving. I was like, oh,
he took a real turn.
Really pulled me in.
It wasn't cheesy. It was like, okay, yeah, this guy can mess some people up. Yeah.
I mean, one could argue that in that scene, the actor is really bringing his A game versus when he's playing typical Nolan. He's kind of a flat character, very one note.
Sure.
But then when it becomes Thomas, he's like, Jekyll became Hyde, man. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah. But I will say, or go ahead. Sorry,
no, but that was good.
The he was a little like one dimensional, but at the end though, like when he's like, tells his daughter, hey, go get a bedtime story, like, and then he like actually braids her hair correctly. I honestly was like I didn't quite tear up, but I was getting a little emotional. I'm like, oh my gosh, like,
I got
it's a happy family.
I got a clench in my throat when they did that.
Yeah.
They did the handshake and all that. And I was like, he's back.
He's back. Nolan's back.
Because you know why? Like, I'm so used to these Black Mirror type of stories where they always just ended on a down note. There's always it's not even like karma playing a hand. It's just, nope. You get punished at the end because that's the norm now, I guess.
Yeah.
It's expected it's going to end in a shocking, tragic way. It was actually really nice how things played out in a favorable way. And the characters kind of, who you get to know, get a little bit, like I'm watching that show Monsterland, and those characters are already fucked. Like, they tell these stories about how, like, one of them is about this woman who married a white guy. She's black. She has a black daughter, black son.
Yeah.
Doctor, very rich.
Okay.
She was poor. And she basically married this guy because he had money. And I guess because she kind of liked him too. But it was like, she never had to worry about anything. And then flash 7 years later, she's in a nice mansion. She's in nice clothes. What we find out is that she subconsciously turned a blind eye to all the things he was doing because he's a pedophile. And he was abusing all these kids that were in his hospital, and also his son.
Oh my gosh.
7. And yeah, so that's like the main setup. But then that's when they add like the added paranormal stuff, like, oh, and by the way, there's a werewolf hunting and trying to kill you. It's like, dude, this already got enough on her plate. And every episode's kind of like that. We have a character who's really just struggling. This works as a regular movie. And it's, oh, by the way, we've also got to add like a werewolf. It's like, it's going to fuck you up. And then it always ends poorly. I guess there's a resolution, but there's never like a happy glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel. It's always, they're fucked and credits. And I'm like, man, I need like a beer or coffee or like a nap or like maybe I'm gonna go for a walk to shake it off, take a shower. Ugh,
Oh my gosh, it's like I think the A plot was crazy enough to where you didn't have to add the werewolf B plot.
And if you read the synopsis, their whole pitch is like, because they're an
anthology.
And whole
and
it's not even season by season. Different stories.
Kind of Black Mirror-ish, but not good.
Black Mirror. But their setup in the synopsis of IMDb is very much like the comparison of how man and beast are both monsters. Like, that's the through line of how, the supernatural is just as evil as man. All right.
Man, wait. Okay. Okay, sure.
You've heard this plot line before, right? Like, man is the cruelest animal, monster.
Right, I just feel like the way they're explaining is a little bit more confusing. Like, why can't just man be the worst monster, not like man and beast?
Guess what?
Beast can be as bad as man. We believe in equality.
Guess what? She's gonna get fucked by both of them.
No, you spoiled the ending.
That's how it is all the episodes. I mean, I only watched 3 of them, but I guess they're good in a subjective kind of way. But man, when you're done, you just feel drained. Like the blood from my face just drained out. And I was like, I can't watch any more of this.
So Black Box was kind of a palate cleanser.
It was. And it wasn't the same. It wasn't more the same that you always get from what you're expecting now. I think the audience has grown kind of wise to the act of expecting it in a bleak kind of way.
Yeah.
So when you kind of invert that expectation a little bit and keep it original, I think that's good. I think that's a good thing that you keep doing. So I'm definitely going to check out these other Welcome to Blumhouse movies, even though they're not connected with the same writer, director, They're kind of just clunked together by Jason Blumhouse, which can be bad.
Could be hit or miss, yeah.
Could be hit or miss. Could be loaded, but I'll definitely check
Yeah,
it out.
same here. You definitely have me more interested, having watched Black Box, now talking about it, definitely more interested. And yeah, I'd definitely give it a solid 7 out of 10. More I think about it, maybe it'll go up to an 8. I don't know. Maybe it'll go up to a 4 out of 5. So we'll see. I want to watch it again.
You got to go back and watch that Spartan Kick, man. That'll.
Yes, I will. I'll text you my reaction. Oh my gosh.
All right, guys, that's going to be it for us today. Be sure to check out J Mark. He's got his own channel. Pretty funny reactions with his wife Asia. They watch horror movies. He's got some comedy sketches as well. Be sure to go like it, subscribe to his videos, and you can find me down below. I'll leave the link right down below here. And until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. I've been John. This has been J Mark. We will see you next time.
All right. Thanks so much.